Red 1 is the very definition of a streaming movie. While it's getting a theatrical release from Amazon and MGM, it feels tailor-made as a movie meant to please the algorithm. An audience is looking for an easily digestible family action film they can break up in pieces. Despite running only 2 hours, it's strikingly similar in structure to Dwayne Johnson's Netflix hit Red Notice, in that it's little more than a series of generic action set pieces strung together and designed as world building in the hopes, I suppose, that this will turn out to be a perennial hit for Prime Video. It hits theaters this week, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see it surface on streaming before the holiday season kicks into high gear, as it definitely seems like a no-brainer to be released at least before Christmas, because who would watch it outside of the holidays? And really, streaming is probably where the movie belongs, as in the theatrical setting, it really does feel like a surprisingly tough sit, with it anchored around some buddy chemistry, which never really surfaces. So when Santa Claus, played by J.K. Simmons, is kidnapped from the North Pole on the day before Christmas, his head of security, Callum Drift, played by Dwayne Johnson, must team with an unworthy tracker, played by Chris Evans, to find him and save both Christmas and the world. So stop me if you've heard this one before. Johnson's Callum Drift is the muscular, upstanding hero, and Chris Evans' scheming Jack O'Malley is supposed to be our scummy anti-hero. And of course, we're supposed to be utterly charmed at the fact that they start at each other's throats, and, of course, in classic buddy movie tradition, start to realize that, hey, each other's not really so bad after all. However, these pairings really are lightning in a bottle, with Johnson and Evans doing the same wannabe Tango and Cash shtick we've seen fall flat too many times. And I get it, when it works, such as in Deadpool and Wolverine, it's golden, but Johnson and Evans are playing too close to type here without ever really poking fun at themselves. It worked really well in Tango and Cash because Stallone was really playing against type because he's supposed to be this kind of bookish stockbroker type character. Dwayne Johnson here, he's basically just playing The Rock over and over and over again, and it's been done so many times. And really, buddy movie chemistry is lightning in a bottle. When it works, it's brilliant, such as Deadpool and Wolverine, where that movie made $1 billion largely on the strength of its two leads. But with Johnson, it never really works, even though he's done the formula so many times. So Red 1 plunges us into the middle of a high-tech North Pole where Santa Claus is a jacked J.K. Simmons who has a security network that puts the Pentagon to shame. Johnson's Drift is his number one guy, but he's just handed in his resignation as he's despondent over how much the naughty list has grown over the years, with it up 22% year to year. Of course, when Santa is taken, he teams up with Lucy Liu's head of MORA, Mythological Oversight and Restoration Authority, which seems tailor-made to get some kind of a spin-off, hence the world building, and he has to find Santa. So director Jake Kasdan is an old hand at movies like this, having directed The Rock in 2 Jumanji films, and Red 1 is done very much in the same style. We're supposed to find it hilarious that Johnson is basically an elf and a pal of Santa's, with many jokes directed at how imposing and scary a guy he is, but is Johnson really that anymore? I feel like we always get him playing these kind of superimposing, soft-hearted heroes, making his casting feel old hat. Evans isn't that much more effective as Jack O'Malley, who's supposed to be such a degenerate that the movie opens with him literally stealing candy from a baby. Yet the film also gives him an estranged son to care about, and who wants to bet that by the time the credits roll, this former member of the naughty list has a change of heart. One thing about Red 1 is that it plays like a Marvel movie without the superheroes, with heavy doses of CGI creatures and a villain no one will care about, with Kiernan Shipka's witch, Grilla, never allowed to become too threatening lest she scare any children. Like other streaming movies, it feels like an algorithm simply threw this together. You put Jumanji, Marvel, and Christmas into a blender and you get the idea for Red 1, with the script by Chris Morgan of the Fast Saga utterly generic. Indeed, there's pretty much nothing anyone does in Red 1 that hasn't been done a lot better elsewhere. If you want to see a really badass Christmas action flick, look no further than Violent Night. If your kids are a little too young for Violent Night, well, I suppose Red 1 is only really worthwhile if you're desperate for some inoffensive entertainment for them. But otherwise, this is just a big old lump of coal in your stocking, and I give it a 4 out of 10.